Hey, happy friends. Yo, Palbo here, the only man on YouTube with a face for radio and a voice for print. Coming at you again, a little bit of mini warm up challenge. What am I doing this week? What am I doing this month? Uh, Still working on my sisters. I'm working on some of these Warcry minis that I'm using as foe inquisitors. Cool thing about them, they're a little bit bigger. They're like 32 millimeter. So when you paint them up, they're like this guy. He's like Space Marine size, I mean, like classic Space Marine, like firstborn Space Marine, not primary Space Marine. And this guy he makes a cool foe inquisitor, and also there's a girl and a couple of dogs. I've been working on the girl right now, trying to get her. She's in this pile of crap somewhere. Played a game this week. Played a Friday game. Real interesting. Had a new player, Brian from Weird World War II, showed up. I thought he was just going to audit, but he wanted to play, which is fine. But didn't really have a character sheet, so he's working on a concept. Fortunately, I've got a ton of sci-fi GURPS templates. If you're not familiar with GURPS, GURPS is a points buy game. It doesn't have classes or levels. It's up to the player to take the character any way they want. But fortunately, there's a concept in GURPS called a template. The template is almost sort of not quite a character. Like say you wanted a character class, right? Like say you wanted to make an astronaut. And so what's an astronaut? We maybe put some points into like physics, put some points into chemistry, put some points into like, zero G, free fall, put some points into, pilot, especially if you're like one of the old school. So you're building like the Mercury 7, the classic. You're building a 1950s era astronaut. Well, he's a fighter pilot. So you put some points in a fighter pilot, and he's an engineer. So you put some points in engineering, and then you build it up from there. When you're done, you have a template that's astronaut, and you can do that for any job you can think of. Space Marine. Oops. Next one. Turn the light off with my foot. Space Marine. Bounty hunter. Fighter pilot. Tank operator. Gunner's mate. You want to make the door gunner on the space shuttle. You can make the door gunner on the space shuttle. So when you build your character concept, when you get almost all the way to the end, if you stopped there and saved that for later, you would have a template. And so my bro, that darn cat, he found, scrounged. There's tons online. So gobs of templates for sci-fi games. Con man, smuggler, every trope from every sci-fi book and movie you've ever read in your life. Swashbuckler. You wanted to make something like a 1950s Flash Gordon. You could give him some points in polo, or the new one was football. And by doing these things, you create a framework that you could use for later games if you wanted to recreate that wheel, or if you wanted to create a whole army of Space Marines, a whole army of whatever you name it, tank operators, starship pilots. So we did that, and kind of got Brian, started to get him situated into the game. He's a bit gonzo, not gonna lie, which is really kind of took me aback, because I haven't run an RPG with those kinds of players in so long. I almost didn't know what to do. I had to sort of stop and change gears, change directions. I think it turned out okay. I don't think it was worthy of anything that you would see on certainly not a Critical Role. But for some improv, very improv, super improv, we did okay. So these are the two things that I'm most interested in again. Um, Painting minis and trying to see how they inspire me, uh, and also how they fit and relate in my own mind, even though we play a theater of the mind game. So how can this help you, right, in your role playing games? Um, I think you just got to be willing to roll with, be prepared for anything, right? Be prepared for anything, especially if you're dealing with a lot of experienced gamers, and especially if you're playing a more open-ended type game. Again, I don't have classes or levels, and I am very much against optimized parties. I think optimized parties and built parties are the party equivalent of character min maxing, right? You sit down and you don't. People that play these new role playing games, they don't roll characters, right? When I was a kid, when I was young, and when I was playing things like um, red box, blue box, green box D&D, or when I was playing AD&D, we would sit down with a pad and a paper and some dice, and we would roll up our characters, and we would decide what classes and loadouts, for want of a better word, we would have based upon the roll of the dice. You know, people nowadays, they don't roll for characters; they build characters. They start from the end and work backwards, and they optimize their character. We used to call it min maxing, right? They min max the hell out of their character until that character is really super good at one thing and can't do anything else at all. And now they've min maxed their character, they're going to proceed to min max their whole party. Optimize, optimize, optimize. You got to have brick, you got to have a damage dealer, you got to have a healer. How much damage can I put out every single turn, round, whatever it is your game, every combat round? How much damage can I put out? I don't do that in my games because I don't see that in the media upon which I base my game, right? When I watch the 1997 Starship Troopers and the platoons going down to Big K to wipe out the bugs, they didn't have, this guy is the medic, and this guy, is only the medic, and this guy is like only the heavy weapons guy. They're pretty much they're all grunts, right? Even like Saving Private Ryan. Yeah, there was a medic, and there was one guy with the BAR, but they're all just rangers, right? They're all rangers. That's it. Or Predator, right? Yeah, you had a couple of guys who had like heavy machine guns, but they weren't so specialized the way you would see in a D&D game versus something that's a little bit more reality based, a little more realistic. So yeah, if you're playing D&D, and not only do you have classes but subclasses and subclasses and optimized subclasses to make sure that the party has some kind of synergy that's just absolutely unbelievable. Or if you look at like a modern, like a SWAT team, modern SWAT team, you got 10 guys in a squad. One guy might have a breaching shotgun, but once he breaches the door and he drops his breaching gun and he picks up his his M4 or his MP5 or whatever his team's outfitted with, he's just another guy in the team, right? You got all your guys in your teams. They know how to they synergize their movements, they communicate, they move, they cover, they secure their objective. And that's kind of the mood that I'm going for with this sci-fi game. And players aren't used to playing like that. And I think a lot of players, they just don't, they're so trained, taught, and educated by playing, especially modern D&D, that they don't know how to do that. They only know how to play a class, and their class becomes their role the way the rules become the game. And I think we can get past that. I think we can do better than that as players and as gamers. I've really encouraged the game. Pardon me. I really encouraged my the players in the group to interact in the way characters in a movie would interact in that respect, right? When when there's a lull in the conversation and Private Ryan talks about his experience with his brothers, and that's the kind of thing, an anecdote. Um, and to that end, I've really encouraged my players to develop the culture uh, of their homeworlds, right? I mean, I think that it's sort of become a theme of late. I watched a video from Venger and then some videos from RPG Grandma in the last couple of days, and these things have really come to my mind. Um, really want to encourage players to think about character background and character motivation and include it in whole cloth, incorporate that into their role playing. So it's a bit rambly. I'm playing a game with a group of guys that until this week they were all the player characters were all dropship troopers from the same legion, from the same group of 100 guys, and these are the sole survivors of our of a failed mission to secure a space station, and it goes sideways, and they do the best they can, and they escape, and now we're dealing with these survivors on their own, sort of an Anabaxis type situation, which has really been a great inspiration for me. It's if you don't know the story of Xenophon and Anabaxis, it's about this Greek mercenary army, and they are caught way behind enemy lines. They're trying to negotiate, fight, flee, and march their way back home again. It's sort of an Odyssey type situation. I really feel inspired by Odysseus in this part of the story, and I want to keep the players moving along from situation to situation and see where they want to go. Do they want to go back to their units? Do they want to go off on their own? What's going to happen? So these are the things that have been on my mind lately as I sit and paint minis. I've got this is the communicator from the Games Workshop Military Advisors box set. I think I'd already done the other one. I'd already done the leader, the naval officer, and the astropath. Already on my box of finished minis, so I don't think you've seen this one yet. Other than that, things are really going along. I've got some other stuff and things. And then the next on my box, or next on my plate, is going to be the one from Brian by way of Shadow. These the Rampart promo pack for Starside. I'm really looking forward to. I really want to get that. He's a commissar. I really want to get that one done by the end of September. So I'm gonna have to get off my butt, back on my butt, and get these that are already prime finished, and then get the ones here that are not yet primed done, and maybe get a second batch in by the end of this by the end of the month. So takeaways: play your games, be prepared for anything, be prepared to roll with it. Sometimes it's not you as the DM, right? You can't have both a railroaded game and a sandboxed game at the same time. So if you're going to run a sandbox game, if you're going to run an open-ended game, you've got to be prepared for what happens when things do go there. Number two, your hobby your way, guys, right? So I'm painting these minis. I may or may not use them on the tabletop for my role-playing game. I may just paint them and put them in a box and get them out, look at them every once in a while. I'm really about the painting right now. Oh, there's the girl. She's got a like a multi-barrel flintlock and a hatchet and another hatchet. She got like Princess Leia hair, and she is about the size of a Battle Sister. She's on a smaller base, but that's fine. And then the dogs, they're around here somewhere too. I think there were two in that set. Big honking Rottweilers. All right, well, I've rambled enough. I wish you luck. I'm going to be really busy this week with a lot of work stuff, and but I should be around. I might be in some streams. If not, you can leave a comment below. You can also email me at bopaintsminis@gmail.com. If you have any suggestions, please leave them in a comment, or if any criticisms, that's fine too. And I wish you a safe and a happy week. All right, peace.